Texas Tiger Digs. I found something out in the field when I was working with my my Fisher F19. And I'm running the nail coil this time. So I'm actually going to be testing this with you. Now, what I was using was the nail coil. I used the nail coil. I'm not sure if I'm getting a good, if I'm getting any good, if it's blurred or not. But I use the nail coil quite a bit over the stock because the stock is a small coil. And I earlier in this week I did use the stock coil, which is the small one. I'll step over here and grab it. So this is the comparative size of these two coils. This is the nail, and this is the smaller coil. So I'll drop it down here a little closer to the bottom, and this is the smaller coil. So there's quite a bit of difference here. So in trashy areas, I will use this coil. This is also the one that's good for gold prospecting and what it's built for. The narrow for getting in between rocks, etc. But it's also good for getting into tot lots. I don't find anything in tot lots, but who knows, one of these days I might. Okay, so I'm going to go. I found something interesting out there with the so-called square tabs. These tabs, not the ones with the beaver tails, the ones that people shouldn't be pulling off their pops. They're built not to be pulled off, everybody, but people do. And so they make our search for gold, etc., a little bit more difficult. Anyway, I'm going to take this. I'm going to drop this down here into my internal garden here, my detecting garden. And there we go. We got that down. I'm going to turn on my detector. Alright, I'm going to turn on my detector so it's on. I'm not going to ground balance it. I'm inside. It's not going to help anyway. So I'm going to try to run across this little tab. Now when I run across this, I'm going to have to bend the detector a little bit so you can actually see it. When I run across this, you're seeing about a 58, 60, 58, 61. Now in the documentation, and I found this out in the field, you can determine a nickel by a 58 signal, at least as much as you can determine anything with a detector. So, you confuse these with a nickel. Now these are common, very common one, and these are the most common that are out there now. So you're going to confuse them with a nickel. But on this trip out with the F19, I did manage to find two nickels, dime, penny, maybe even 2 dimes. But I did definitely find the 2 nickels, and I found these 2 nickels, at 58 on this detector. Now, see. Got the gain turned down low here. Now this goes from 52 to 61 to 63, and there's 58. See 58 there? Now the thing is, see how it's moving around? That's a sure sign you're getting a non-nickel. Now I dig it anyway because it could be something like a ring or something that's masked by something else. But I just wanted to show you that. Now I'm going to take a nickel here. I'm going to remove this square tab. I'm going to drop one of the nickels I found. It's pretty corroded, but that is a nickel. And I'm going to run this across. Now you see that 56, 57, 58, 59? It's slightly more stable. But the interesting thing is, I'm not sure how good the sound's coming across here, but that is a pretty definitive sound. Even though it jumps a little bit. But let me put the pull tab back down. And pull the nickel out. And here we go. Can you hear the quality change? It's hard to describe, but when you have a square tab with the F19, it's a little bit more static. Okay, let me reach down. Let me pull this up. And now let me use the nickel in my hand this time. You sound how solid that is? Alright. That's a very, very solid sound. There's no static. There's no variation. You pretty much get a definitive sound. Now here I go. I'm putting it up here now with this. Finishing off what I'm saying here, when you run this across your pull tab, what I'm saying is you will get, not a pull tab, the square tabs, the ones that shouldn't be removed, you will get a slight echo. So you will hit it and you will hit the sound and then kind of a static sound. Now this is not as easy to determine with this machine as it is with most, because it has sort of a wong sound, a lot like a gold finder, which it is in one of its implementations. So that's basically what I'm saying. And numerically, I found when I was hitting the nickels, numerically I was getting a shorter or a lesser range of numbers. The solid round nickel was giving me like 56, 57, 58. And it was rarely hopping to 59. But as you've seen earlier in this, I believe, you did get in excess of 59 or above when you did the square tab. And I also dug square tabs, because square tabs are not consistent, but these are the ones that are closest to the standards that we run across most often. I have had square tabs when I was out in the field with the F19, which I'm doing more often, and it stopped at 57 without reaching 58. So what I'm saying is, within a very small range, when you hit that 58 and don't go above it, or go above it slightly, but basically stay in between 55, 56, 57, 58 range, it's more likely to be a nickel. If you get variations, and in addition to that echo or staticky sound when you swing it across the target, then you're more likely to be looking at one of many types of pull tabs or square tabs. In any case, this is Texas Tiger Digs. That's all I've got on this, and use it for what it's worth, because to tell the truth, I'm going to hear that echo, I'm going to know it's a pull tab, and I'm going to dig it anyway, because there's a chance it might not be a pull tab but a gold ring, or it could be a so I'm not saying this is something you could definitively use to separate pull tabs or square tabs, not the beaver tail pull tabs, but square tabs, the ones that shouldn't be taken off. Then I'm not going to use that as definitive reason not to dig, but I will use it as an expectation of what I'm digging, because I don't want to expect to be digging a nickel and dig a square tab, and I don't want to be expecting to be digging I would love to be expecting to dig a square tab and find a gold ring. So that's the plus I want, but I also want to know that there's a chance this is a nickel, so I can set my expectations, because as we know, metal detecting is often a series of controlled disappointments. In any case, this is Texas Tiger Digs, and go out and try this for yourself, because it's not a great example, and I'm using a speaker on my camera. Pretty good speaker. So if you're using this nail coil, great. This is a gold bug coil. and you can use gold bugs, and there are several of the higher end, of the other Fisher machines that have coils that are compatible. The F5 has got a compatible coil with this as well. And, use the stock coil. And tell me what you think about that. Tell me if you can see a variation in that. Like I said, it's not a variation I would depend on for a dig, no dig, but I might set expectations by it. In any case, I will talk to you next time. Working on my hunts for this week. And I'm going to get them together probably a little bit later than the week we know, but I always like to get at least 2 hunt videos a week. But I'm going to be in corporate educational Hades for a while. I got to go take a class, and which means I'm going to have to go through rush hour 5 times further than I normally do to go to my normal job. In any case, I will talk to you later, and you have a good day.